Grand Admiral Catherine Drake stood at the command center of Terran Space Station Aegis, her expression stern as she watched the holographic display. The massive Imperial fleet had just crossed the Kuiper Belt, precisely where Terran long-range sensors had predicted they would appear. Their arrogance was almost amusing. They hadn't even bothered to mask their approach. 23 Imperial capital ships detected, Admiral, reported Captain Thomas Rodriguez, his hands moving across the quantum interface. They're maintaining standard Imperial conquest formation, just like the intelligence reports from the outer colonies suggested. Catherine's steel-gray eyes narrowed. For 15 years, humanity had watched the Galactic Empire's methodical expansion through the galaxy. They'd observed as world after world fell to Imperial protection. But Earth, and its now sprawling Terran command, was different. They had prepared, they had built, they had waited. "Open all channels," Catherine ordered, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's collective resolve. "Let's make our position clear before they make any assumptions about Earth's capabilities." The Empire's lead vessel, a behemoth of dark, metal and pulsing energy fields, came to a stop just beyond Mars's orbit. A transmission burst through on all frequencies, and the holographic image of High Commander Vexithor materialized in the command center. His serpentine features and ornate armor were clearly meant to intimidate. "Greetings, primitive world," Vexithor's voice boomed. "The Eternal Empire brings you civilization and order. Your system now falls under Imperial protection. Prepare to—" "This is Grand Admiral Catherine Drake of Terran Command," she interrupted, causing the alien commander's expression to shift from practiced condescension to surprise. "Your fleet has entered restricted space. You were not invited, nor are you welcome here." Vexithor's features contorted in what might have been amusement. "Restricted? By whose authority? Our scans show only basic orbital platforms and crude spacecraft. The Empire claims this system for the greater good of—" "Let me be absolutely clear," Catherine cut him off again. "You have precisely 1 hour to reverse course and leave Terran space. This is not a negotiation. This is not a request. This is your only warning." The Imperial commander's face darkened. "You dare threaten the Empire? Your primitive weapons cannot—" Catherine nodded to Captain Rodriguez. Across the solar system, cloaking fields dropped. Hundreds of advanced Terran warships appeared in strategic positions around the Imperial fleet. Quantum defense platforms materialized near every major planet and moon. The Sol system's true face was revealed, not a primitive civilization ripe for conquest, but the heart of a technologically advanced, militarily prepared society. "As I said," Catherine continued, her voice ice-cold, "you are not welcome in our space. Your intelligence is outdated, High Commander. Earth has been watching your Empire's expansion for decades. We've studied your tactics, analyzed your technology, and prepared accordingly. The Sol system and surrounding space belongs to Terran Command." On the tactical display, warning indicators flashed as Imperial ships began charging weapons. Catherine almost smiled. They were so predictable. "All Terran vessels maintain defensive positions," she ordered. "Activate quantum interference fields." Instantly, the Imperial ships' weapon systems went dark, their engines sputtering as advanced Terran countermeasures took effect. What is this sorcery?" Vexithor demanded, his composure cracking as system after system failed across his fleet. "This is why you're no longer welcome in our space," Catherine replied calmly. "You have 55 minutes remaining to withdraw. If you choose to ignore this warning, you will experience firsthand exactly how unwelcome you are. The choice is yours, High Commander." The command center fell silent as the Imperial commander processed this unprecedented situation. For the first time in centuries, the Empire faced not just resistance, but a civilization fully prepared to enforce its sovereignty. The next hour would determine whether the Empire would learn this lesson the easy way or the hard way. Either way, the message was clear. Terran space was off limits, and Terran Command had the power to enforce that declaration. The next 40 minutes in Terran Command's war room were tense as Chief Engineer Raj Patel monitored the Imperial fleet's desperate attempts to restore their systems. His dark fingers danced across holographic displays. watching as the Empire's best technicians failed to counter Terran quantum interference. "They've tried 7 different frequencies to bypass our countermeasures," Raj reported, adjusting his wire-rimmed glasses. "Their technology is impressive, but they're still using predictable quantum signatures. Everything's proceeding exactly as we modeled." Grand Admiral Drake nodded, watching the tactical display where Imperial ships drifted in confused formations. 15 years of studying Imperial technology had paid off. Every system, every protocol, every backup measure the Empire might try had been analyzed and countered before they even entered Sol space. "Admiral," Captain Rodriguez called out, "High Commander Vexthor is requesting communication." "Put him through," Catherine ordered, straightening her midnight blue uniform. The Imperial commander's hologram appeared, his serpentine features twisted with barely contained rage. "This assault on Imperial vessels is an act of war," Vexthor snarled. "Release our ships immediately, or face the consequences when our main fleet arrives." Catherine's expression remained neutral. "You have 15 minutes remaining to withdraw under your own power, Commander. If you choose not to comply, we will remove you ourselves. As for your main fleet..." She nodded to Raj, who activated another display. The hologram showed real-time footage of Imperial reinforcement fleets stopped dead in space at various points across neighboring systems. Quantum interference fields had trapped them all, their weapons and engines as useless as those of Vexthor's ships. "We detected their approach 3 days ago," Catherine continued. "They're currently experiencing the same technical difficulties as your fleet. The Empire is not in a position to make threats, Commander." Vexthor's scales darkened with fury. "Impossible! No primitive world could..." "Lieutenant Wei," Catherine called out, "demonstrate capability level 2. Jessica Wei, Terran Command's weapons specialist, activated a sequence on her console. Across the solar system, massive energy collectors emerged from hidden positions on various moons and asteroids. They powered up in perfect synchronization, creating a web of visible energy that connected them all. "This network," Catherine explained, "can generate enough focused power to disable every ship in your fleet simultaneously. Not just their weapons and engines, everything. Your life support systems would have approximately 3 hours of backup power." She let that sink in. "We've spent years building this defense grid. Would you like to see what else we've prepared specifically for the Empire?" On the bridge of his flagship, Vexthor's crew watched in horror as their scans revealed layer after layer of Terran defenses. Hidden bases on Mars and Venus powered up. Massive shipyards emerged from the dark side of the moon. Quantum gates capable of bringing reinforcements from across the solar system in seconds activated their power signatures. 10 minutes remaining, Commander," Catherine reminded him. "The Empire has 2 choices. Withdraw and inform your leadership that Sol system and its surrounding space is now recognized as Terran territory, or..." She paused meaningfully. "Discover exactly how much more advanced our primitive civilization truly is." Raj's console beeped urgently. "Admiral, detecting power spikes in 3 Imperial vessels. They're attempting to override our interference by overloading their core reactors." Catherine's expression hardened. "Activate containment fields around those ships full power. Show them what happens when they underestimate us." Brilliant blue energy fields encased the 3 Imperial ships, completely isolating their reactor surges. The resulting overloads, meant to break free of Terran control, instead remained contained within the fields, forcing emergency shutdowns of the Imperial vessels. "Fascinating approach," Raj commented, studying the data. "But they're still thinking in terms of brute force. They haven't even begun to understand our quantum manipulation technology." On the tactical display, the remaining Imperial ships began slow, awkward turns using emergency thrusters, the only propulsion systems still functioning under Terran interference. High Commander Vexthor's hologram had vanished. His only communication, a short tight beam transmission. "Withdrawing under protest. The Empire will not forget this insult." "They're retreating," Captain Rodriguez confirmed. "All ships are on course to exit the system." Catherine allowed herself a small smile. "Maintain quantum interference until they're beyond the Kuiper belt, Lieutenant Wei. Power up the long-range defense network." Make sure they don't have second thoughts once they're clear of the local fields. As the Imperial fleet limped away from Earth, Raj pulled up the data they'd collected during the confrontation. Their ship's power signatures, command protocols, emergency procedures. We've learned more about Imperial technology in the past hour than in 15 years of observation. R&D will have a field day with this. And the Empire has learned something too, Catherine added, watching the tactical display. They've learned that Terran space is protected by more than words. The galaxy's balance of power just shifted, and they know it. The question now was how the Empire would respond once they realized just how thoroughly they'd been outmaneuvered by a civilization they'd dismissed as primitive. But whatever came next, Terran Command had demonstrated beyond doubt that humanity was no longer a species to be trifled with. Fleet Commander Michael Chen stood in the Terran Command's tactical center 3 days after the Empire's humiliating retreat. The massive holographic display showed hundreds of Imperial signatures approaching from multiple vectors. Just as their intelligence predicted, the Empire couldn't accept their loss of face. They're not even trying to hide their approach this time, Michael observed, his weathered face illuminated by the tactical displays. 20 years of military service hadn't prepared him for the scale of what was coming. Count? 712 Imperial vessels detected across all approach vectors, reported strategic analyst Olivia Santos, her cybernetic interface glowing softly at her temple, including 3 Worldbreaker-class dreadnoughts. They've deployed their entire Western Arm fleet. In orbit above Earth, Grand Admiral Drake's voice came through the quantum comm. Status of the Aegis Defense Network? All systems primed and ready, Michael confirmed. Quantum tripwires are in place. The Empire's about to learn why you don't push a technologically superior opponent into a corner. The Imperial fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel in a massive display of purple energy, their ships forming attack patterns that had conquered 1,000 worlds. At their center, a massive vessel twice the size of the others took position. Its hull bore the scars of 100 victories. Incoming transmission, Olivia announced. It's Grand Marshal Kethavan himself. The hologram that appeared dwarfed even Vexthor's impressive stature. Kethavan's ceremonial armor bore the marks of every world his forces had conquered. His 4 eyes blazed with barely contained fury. People of Earth, his voice boomed across all frequencies. Your insolence ends today. The Empire does not tolerate resistance. You were offered civilization, instead you chose extinction. Michael opened a channel. Grand Marshal, this is Fleet Commander Michael Chen of Terran Command. We anticipated your return. I suggest you check your tactical displays. Now. On cue, the first layer of Terran defenses revealed themselves. Massive quantum gates activated throughout the solar system, each large enough to permit passage of entire battle groups. Through them emerged the true extent of Terran military power. Sleek, angular vessels that made Imperial ships look antiquated, by comparison. You hide behind tricks and deception, Kethavan snarled. The Empire's might cannot be denied. All ships begin the assault. Show these upstarts the price of defiance. The Imperial fleet surged forward, weapons charging. Michael allowed himself a small smile. Initiate Operation Checkmate. Across the solar system, Terran ships engaged their quantum drive systems, technology far beyond anything the Empire possessed. They didn't just move. They danced through space itself, appearing and disappearing faster than Imperial targeting systems could track. Vector 1 engaged, Olivia reported as the first wave of Terran ships struck. Their weapons weren't simple energy beams or projectiles. They fired concentrated bursts of quantum-shifted space, bypassing Imperial shields completely. Dozens of Imperial ships found their hull integrity compromised by weapons that ignored their defensive systems entirely. Impossible, Kethavan's voice thundered. All ships maintain formation, concentrate fire on their command vessels. They still think we fight like they do, Michael noted. Activate the Athena protocol. Throughout the Imperial fleet, ships suddenly found themselves fighting their own systems. Quantum infiltration protocols that had been uploaded during their last retreat now activated, turning their own weapons against them. Confusion spread through their ranks as targeting systems identified friendly ships as enemies. "Clever," Olivia commented, watching the chaos unfold. "But they're about to try something desperate." She was right. The 3 Worldbreaker dreadnoughts moved into position, their planet-killing weapons charging. These were the Empire's ultimate weapons, capable of cracking a world's crust. Michael's expression hardened. "They actually think we'd leave Earth exposed to those." Execute final phase. Hidden within the asteroid belt, enormous rings of technology that had taken a decade to build hummed to life. They created a quantum tunnel network that wrapped around the entire solar system. As the Worldbreakers fired, their energy beams entered the network at one point and emerged at another, pointed right back at Imperial ships. The results were devastating. 2 dreadnoughts suffered critical hits from their own weapons. The third barely managed to raise shields in time, but the effort burned out its main power core. "Imperial fleet is in disarray," Olivia reported, unable to keep the satisfaction from her voice. 40% of their ships are disabled or destroyed. The rest are attempting to retreat, but our quantum net is still active. Michael opened a channel to all Imperial vessels. "Your ships are trapped, Grand Marshal. Your weapons are useless, your technology is outdated. This is the price of threatening Terran space." Kethavan's hologram showed an expression no Imperial citizen had ever seen before: fear. "What are you?" "We are humanity," Michael replied calmly. "We watched your empire expand for decades. We studied every battle, every technology, every tactic. While you saw what you expected to see, a primitive civilization, we built something far beyond your understanding. Terran space is not your conquest, Marshal. It's your lesson in humility." The quantum comm crackled as Grand Admiral Drake's voice addressed the Imperial fleet. "Your forces will be permitted to withdraw once again. But this time, we're sending a message back to your Emperor. The age of Imperial expansion is over. The galaxy now has a new power to contend with." As the Imperial fleet retreated in chaos, Michael watched the tactical display with quiet pride. Humanity had just demonstrated not just technological superiority, but strategic mastery. The Empire's greatest fleet had been defeated not through brute force, but through careful planning and superior innovation. "Send word to all Terran outposts," he ordered. "The defensive perimeter held, and let the research division know they'll have plenty of new Imperial technology to study." He paused, looking at the retreating Imperial ships. "Something tells me the Empire won't be visiting our space again anytime soon." Defense Director Nadia Volkov strode through the underground command bunker of Luna Base, her boots echoing against polished floors. Emergency alerts flashed across every screen as the largest Imperial fleet ever assembled dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the solar system. "They've brought their entire eastern and southern arm fleets," reported Tactical Officer Marcus Bishop, his dark skin illuminated by the red emergency lights. "Nearly 2,000 vessels, including their flagship, the Emperor's Wrath." Nadia's ice-blue eyes narrowed as she studied the tactical display. The Empire had committed every ship they could spare from their core worlds. This wasn't just an IBD attack. It was an all-or-nothing gamble to restore their damaged reputation. "The Emperor himself is leading this assault," she noted, watching the massive Imperial flagship move into position. "Alert Grand Admiral Drake and Fleet Commander Chen. It's time to unveil Project Prometheus." High above Earth, the Imperial fleet's appearance was magnificent and terrifying. At its heart, the Emperor's Wrath stretched 20 kilometers from bow to stern, its black hull decorated with the spoils of 1,000 conquered worlds. Emperor Zarketh stood on its command deck, his ceremonial armor pulsing with energy fields. "Terran Command?" His voice boomed across all frequencies. "Your defiance ends today. You face not a mere fleet, but the combined might of the Imperial Dominion. Surrender now and your world will be spared complete devastation." In Terran Command's orbital headquarters, Grand Admiral Drake opened a channel. "Emperor Zarketh, we expected you'd come yourself after your force's recent embarrassments." I'm afraid Terran space remains closed to Imperial vessels. This is your only warning to withdraw." The Emperor's laughter echoed through the comm. "You still believe you can stand against us? We have analyzed your tactics. Your quantum interference will not work against our modified shields. Your tricks and deceptions end today." Catherine Drake smiled slightly. "Director Volkov, they're all yours." On Luna Base, Nadia activated her quantum interface. "Execute Project Prometheus. Authorization code. Humanity Ascendant." Across the solar system, massive structures hidden within planets, moons, and asteroids began to move. Mercury's surface split open, revealing a planet-sized array of quantum technology. Venus's thick clouds parted as enormous energy collectors emerged. Mars's polar caps opened to unveil weapon systems that dwarfed Imperial dreadnoughts. "By the eternal void," someone on the Imperial command channel whispered. "They've weaponized their entire system." "Not weaponized," Nadia corrected, opening a channel to the Emperor's wrath. "We've evolved beyond your understanding of technology. While you conquered other worlds, we transformed our entire solar system into something new. Something you cannot comprehend." The orbital platforms around Earth shifted, revealing their true nature. They weren't just defensive installations. They were nodes in a vast quantum network that connected every planet, moon, and asteroid in the system. "All Prometheus nodes synchronized," Marcus reported. "Quantum resonance at optimal levels. We can proceed with the demonstration." Nadia nodded. "Target the empty space 50,000 kilometers ahead of the Imperial fleet. 20% power only. Let's not break too many laws of physics today." Energy began flowing through the solar system's quantum network. Mercury's arrays channeled the sun's power. Venus's collectors focused it. Mars's systems refined it. When the energy finally released, it didn't emerge as a weapon beam or explosive force. Instead, a small portion of space simply changed. Imperial sensors watched in horror as an area of space the size of Earth's moon transformed. Natural laws shifted. Matter behaved differently. It was as if humanity had rewritten the fundamental rules of reality itself. "This is what you face, Emperor," Nadia explained calmly. "Not merely advanced technology, but control over space-time itself. We could do this to the space your fleet occupies. We could change the very nature of reality around your worlds. But we choose not to, because we are not conquerors. We are guardians of our space, nothing more." The Emperor's voice had lost its commanding tone. What are you?" "We are humanity," Nadia replied. "While your empire spent millennia stagnating, believing itself supreme, we evolved. We didn't just advance our technology, we transformed our understanding of the universe itself. Your empire's time of expansion is over. A new age is beginning." On the tactical display, Imperial ships began turning away, not in formation, but in panic. The Emperor's wrath remained, its weapons powered down. "You could have annihilated us at any time," Emperor Zarketh realized. "This entire conflict, you were showing restraint." "We studied your empire for decades," Nadia confirmed. "We knew that only a demonstration of overwhelming power would end this conflict permanently. You now understand that humanity cannot be conquered. More importantly, you understand why we choose not to conquer others, despite our capabilities." The Emperor was silent for a long moment. "What are your terms?" "Simple. The Empire will recognize all Terran space as sovereign territory. You will share your star charts and colonial records, allowing us to protect other developing civilizations from Imperial expansion. In return, we will share some of our less reality-altering technological innovations. The galaxy needs order, Emperor, but not through conquest, through cooperation." As the Imperial fleet retreated for the final time, Marcus looked at the tactical display with wonder. "They're actually leaving. The Empire is really backing down." Nadia nodded, watching the Emperor's wrath disappear into hyperspace. "They finally understand. Humanity's advancement wasn't just about building better weapons or stronger defenses. It was about reaching a level of development where we could choose peace from a position of absolute strength. The age of Imperial expansion was over. The age of human guidance was about to begin. 1 month after the Empire's retreat, the Great Hall of Terran Command Headquarters buzzed with activity. Representatives from 100 worlds filled the vast chamber, their diverse forms a testament to the galaxy's rich tapestry of life. At the center of it all stood Ambassador Jonathan Rivera, his silver-streaked hair and diplomatic uniform reflecting the hall's crystalline lighting. "The Imperial delegation has arrived," announced Protocol Officer Zara Patel, her augmented eyes scanning the incoming data. "They seem uncomfortable being here as guests rather than conquerors." Jonathan straightened his collar. "History isn't kind to empires that fail to adapt, Zara. Let's show them a better way forward." The Imperial diplomatic team entered, led by High Chancellor Mithrax. Gone were the overwhelming displays of martial power that had once characterized Imperial diplomats. Instead, they moved with the careful dignity of those who had learned hard lessons about their place in the universe. "Welcome to Earth," Jonathan greeted them, activating the Universal Translator. "The first meeting of the Galactic Concordat is about to begin." Grand Admiral Drake and Defense Director Volkov joined them at the central platform, which rose gently into the air to give all delegates a clear view. The hall's quantum field shimmed, creating perfect acoustics for every species present. 3 standard months ago," Catherine began, her voice carrying to every corner of the chamber, "the galaxy stood on the brink of a devastating war. Today we gather to ensure such conflicts become relics of the past, not through force or dominion, but through understanding and cooperation." The holographic display activated, showing a map of known space. Imperial territory glowed in purple, while the newly recognized Terran space shone in blue. Dozens of other colors represented independent worlds and smaller alliances. "The Empire's star charts have revealed something troubling," Jonathan continued. 17 developing civilizations are on the brink of achieving faster-than-light travel. Under the old order, they would have faced a choice between submission or destruction. We propose a different path. Nadia stepped forward, activating another display. This one showed the schematics for a new type of quantum beacon. Terran Command has developed a network of guidance systems. These will help emerging civilizations navigate their first steps into interstellar space safely. No more conquest. No more forced assimilation. Every species deserves the chance to develop on their own terms. High Chancellor Mithrax rose, his voice carrying a hint of his species' natural reverb. "The Empire has ruled the stars for 10,000 years. Our ways are deeply ingrained. Why should we trust this new approach?" "Because you've seen the alternative," Catherine replied calmly. "Humanity could have destroyed your fleet, rewritten space-time around your worlds, or simply sealed the Empire away behind quantum barriers. Instead, we chose to offer partnership. The galaxy is changing, Chancellor. The question is whether the Empire will change with it." The holographic display shifted, showing projections of technological and cultural exchange between civilizations. "Our quantum technology can revolutionize Imperial worlds," Jonathan explained. "Your experience in galactic administration can help us establish stable trade routes. Together, we can create something greater than conquest, a true galactic community." Across the hall, delegates began to nod. Even the Imperial representatives showed signs of interest as the potential benefits became clear. "There will be challenges," Nadia acknowledged. "Change never comes easily, but Terran Command has established training facilities on Mars, Venus, and Europa. Any world that wishes to learn our methods of advancement is welcome to send their best and brightest. Knowledge, not power, will be the currency of this new age." A small ship appeared on the tactical display, approaching Earth at high speed. "Right on schedule," Catherine smiled. "Look to the sky, everyone." The hall's ceiling turned transparent, revealing Earth's night sky. A brilliant flash of light marked the arrival of humanity's latest achievement, a vessel returning from the first successful test of long-range quantum tunneling. Distance was becoming meaningless. The galaxy was opening up in ways even the Empire had never imagined. "The age of conquest is over," Jonathan declared. "The age of exploration and cooperation begins." Earth is no longer just humanity's home. It's a beacon for all species seeking to advance beyond their current limitations, not through force, but through innovation and mutual respect. High Chancellor Mithrax stood again, but this time, his posture was different. The Empire. He paused, seeming to struggle with words that would have been unthinkable months ago. Accepts these terms. We will join your concordat. The stars have room enough for many kinds of greatness. As delegates from across the galaxy began to mingle, sharing ideas and forming connections that would shape centuries to come, Zara approached Jonathan. Ambassador, incoming transmission from the quantum exploration vessel. They've found something. Beyond the galactic rim, signs of artificial structures older than our recorded history. Jonathan smiled. Send word to Terran Command. Humanity's next great adventure is about to begin. But this time, we won't explore alone. The Great Hall hummed with energy as ancient enemies became reluctant partners, and newly spacefaring races found mentors instead of conquerors. Earth had not just defended its space, it had transformed the very nature of galactic civilization. The stars above were no longer a battlefield to be conquered, but a frontier to be explored together. Humanity had done more than prove its power. It had shown the galaxy a better way forward, and that perhaps was the greatest victory of all.